Okay, class, we're about to start Unit 7, Introductory Algebra. It says Section A, combining like terms. An algebraic expression is made up of the sums and differences of terms. A term is a number, also called a constant, a variable, or the product of a constant and a variable. In a variable term, the number part is called the coefficient. Okay, now we have the expression 3x minus 5y plus 8. The terms are 3x, negative 5y, and also 8. So now they're asking us for the coefficients. So it'll be 3, negative 5, and 8. Now we come here for these terms. The terms are 9ab, b squared, and negative a. And the coefficients are 9, 1, and negative 1. Now, one thing I want to point out, the only thing that separates terms are addition and subtraction. That's why you have 3 terms here and only 3 terms here. If you do not see addition or subtraction, there's no separation of the terms. Like terms are terms that have the same variable and exponent, but may have different coefficients. Like terms can be combined by addition or subtraction. There are a few rules of addition that you should take note of before we start the examples. We have the commutative and associative properties. These properties are basically telling you that no matter what order you put addition in, that it will still give you the same result. 2 plus 3 and 3 plus 2 both give you 5. 2 plus parenthesis 3 plus 5 and 2 plus 3 in parenthesis plus 5 both still gives you 10. So now we can take this knowledge and do examples 1 through 6. It says simplify by combining like terms. We have 4x plus 9x. So now they are like terms because they have the same variable taken to the same exponent. So you will add the coefficients, which would be 13, and bring over the variable. Now here, they're like terms. So we will subtract the coefficients here, 3 minus 7. We know it's negative 4. And we'll bring over our variable, which is m. Now with number 3, we had 2a plus a. Remember, it's assumed to be a 1 in front of this a. So we'll add the coefficients. There'll be 3, and we'll carry over the a. Now we come here to number 4. You notice they have all the same variables taken all to the same exponent. Now this is assumed to be a negative 1 in front of this y. So we'll add up the coefficients here. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2, plus 7 is 9. And then we'll bring down our y squared. Now if you notice here, we have some terms that are alike and some not. So we only combine the like terms. 3y and 5y are like terms, so that'll give us 8y. And then negative 7 or minus 7 and positive 10 are like terms. And that will give us positive 3. Because a minus 7 plus 10 is 3. And we're done with number 5. Now number 6, we have 3x plus 6x. Now remember, we always look at the sign in front of the term. 3x plus 6x is 9x. So that'll take care of the x's. Now we come to the y's. Positive plus 4y minus 15y will give us a minus 11y. And last but not least, we have a negative 7 and a positive 12. Negative 7 plus 12 will give us positive 5. Now we have unlike terms that cannot be combined by addition or subtraction. Section B, multiplying expressions. Unlike addition and subtraction of terms, terms do not have to be alike in order to multiply. There are a few rules of multiplying that you should take note of before we start the examples. Okay, now, when you multiply by 0, any number you multiply by 0 will give you 0. Okay, next, if you multiply by 1, any number you multiply by 1 will give you the number that you started with. Now we come here to the commutative and associative property. Just like it was for addition, which means no matter what the order is, if it's all multiplication, it's still going to give you the same answer. 5 times 2 and 2 times 5 are still, both of them are 10. If we take 2 times 3 in parentheses times 4, or 2 times 3 times 4 in parentheses, they both will still give you 24. Now, the distributive property. Now this is a little different. We have 2 times the parenthesis of 3 plus 4. Now we know 3 plus 4 is 7 times 2 is 14. So we know whatever we do with this property, it has to equal 14. So what's happening here is we would take this 2 times the first term, which is 2 times 3. Then we'll take this 2 times the second term, and then that'll be plus 2 times 4. Now this plus sign comes from the sign of the 2, not from inside the parenthesis. Remember, whatever sign you have here comes from the sign of the value that you're multiplying by. So now, in order for this to be true, these values have to equal 14. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 times 4 is 8, and we know 6 plus 8 is 14. So that means the distributive property works as well. Now it says simplify by using the distributive property. So we will have 3 times x, because x is the first term, and plus 4 is the second term. So this 3 is positive, so it'd be plus 3 times, and then that's a positive 4, so it'll remain positive 4. So 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 4 is 12. And that is the final answer for that problem. Okay, number 2, we'll take negative 2 times 5a minus 2 times 3. Now again, remember, we take the sign that's in front of this number here. So negative 2 times 5a is a negative 10a. A minus 2 times 3 will give you a minus 6. So this is your final answer. Now with number 3, we'll do 5 times y. This 5 is positive, plus 5 times a negative 5. So 5 times y is 5y. The positive 5 times a negative 5 will give us a minus 25. And that is the final answer. Now we come to objective C, simplifying expressions. Example, simplify the following expressions by removing parentheses and combining like terms. Okay, so now, in this problem here, we're going to do the distributive property, because first of all, you can't do anything inside of these parentheses. We still have to remember our order of operations. There's no exponents. And then with we have multiplication, so we'll do that first from left to right, but this time we'll do it in the form of the distributive property. So you have 4 times 2x plus 4 times a negative 3 plus 15. Well, 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times a negative 3 will be minus 12 plus 15. So this will give us 8x, a minus 12 and 15 will give us positive 3. So now we come here. We add negative 3 times y minus 3 times a negative 2, and then plus 5 times 2y, and plus 5 times a negative 3. So this will give us negative 3y plus 6 plus 10y minus 15. Now we have to combine the like terms. Negative 3y plus 10y is 7y, and 6 minus 15 will give us a minus 9. Okay, now we come here. This minus sign in front of the parentheses, you could look at that as a 1, or you could just look at this as changing the signs on the inside. So whatever sign we have on the inside of this parenthesis, we take its opposite. So a positive 4x will become a negative 4x. A plus 5 will become minus 5. Or you could have multiplied both of these by negative 1. So we combine the like terms. Negative 4x plus 12x is 8x. Negative 5 plus 6 is a positive 1. And that is our final answer. Now we come here with this fraction. So we'll take a negative 1/2 times 4x minus 1/2 times 6 plus 5x plus 7. Negative 1/2 times 4x is a negative 2x. We could put that over 1, and we know that will give us a negative 2x. A negative 1/2 times 6 will give us a minus 3, plus 5x plus 7. So we combine like terms. Negative 2x plus 5x is a positive 3x. And then we will have negative 3 plus 7, which will give us a positive 4. And this will be your final answer. Now we go here to numbers 5 and 6. We have 0.3 times 5x plus 0.3 times 2 plus 6.1x minus 4.2. So 0.3 times 5x is 1.5x. 0.3 times 2 is a positive 0.6 plus 6.1x minus 4.2. Now 1.5x and 6.1x will give you 7.6x. And 0.6 minus 4.2 is a minus 3.6. So this is your final answer. Now we come here to number 6. Now we would take 1/5 times 10x plus 1/5 times 7 minus 0.2 times 18.5x minus 0.2 times 7. So now 1/5 of 10x is 2x. You put that over 1 and multiply it. 1/5 times 7 is 7/5. And then minus 0.2 times 18.5 will give us a minus. This will be, let's see, 0.37? Yeah, 0.37. And, no, wait a second. Let's check it on the calculator. 8.5 times 0.2 should be 3.7. Erase that. I felt a little bit off there. Minus 3.7x. And 0.2 times 7 will give us a minus 1.4. Now we combine like terms. 2x minus 3.7x will give us a negative 1.7x. 7/5, we'll put that in the calculator. 7 divided by 5. That gives us 1.4. So this is really 1.4 minus 1.4, which is 0. So this would be the final answer here.